Welcome to
I should have got
Coffee
Dang it.
with the co-founders and a lot of really, really interesting other people. So we have never done this. Just so everyone knows, we do a coffee with the co-founders probably quarterly. It's been something we've done for a while with our staff, our worldwide staff. So we've got everyone from all over the United States. We've got people beaming in from the Philippines. And we thought as we approached the end of 2022, that'd be kind of cool to experiment with a sort of, mostly unscripted coffee with the co-founders with our clients. The coffee with the co-founders. So normally when we do these webinars, it's very scripted. We've got, a PowerPoint that we go through. We're very dialed in on the message and what we want to relate to you, the new releases, what we're working on. There's always a very, very strong sort of, story arc and script and what we want to let you guys know. This one's a little bit more loosey-goosey. It's just kind of like, hey, let's all just have coffee together. And, sort of there's a lot of stuff obviously going on in the market right now. A lot of stuff going on with Ylopo. And we want to have a chat with some of our amazing realtors and residents as well, and see how they're doing in this market. And just kind of keep it casual. It's kind of how I see it. What do you see out there, G?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I'm excited to share with you guys at least a peek into what Ylopo is working on. And what I'd say is, for the past couple of months, more than ever, we've just been talking to clients about what you guys need, right? And I think we've done more diligence in that area than we have ever done in Ylopo's past. Just because we're in the same boat as you guys, we want to build a product and succeed in these times, right? So, I'd love to hear from obviously all of our realtor in residences and coaches about how they're dealing with the market. But I'm excited to share with you guys some of the stuff that we're working on. And of course, Barry and Gabe, being the monsters they are, have built out and helped build out 2 new tools already that is going to be really helpful for all of you. But, we're going to be working on even more.
What did you call us?
Yeah, and I monsters. I said this after the coffee with the co-founders, the internal meeting, and I'll say it, to the people attending. When there's changes in any way in life or in business or anything, that's when strong leadership really shines and it really matters. And what Howard and G continue to do is to create a culture of leaders. And so by bringing the realtors and residents on, we're in the trenches with you guys, but we are the gap between the product and the engineers and the users. And so we're here to collectively just talk about all the cool stuff we're doing and add encouragement and direction. So it's really
also,
cool.
Maybe occasionally we can ask some questions, to the folks that we're having coffee with. I'd like to first start out with basically just in the chat, go to your chat and tell us where you're dialing in from, but also here's the question for you. So it's going to be like, I'm Howard, Daytona Beach. And then the question is on a scale of 1 to 10, like 1 being the worst real estate market you've ever seen in your life, 10 being the best real estate market you've ever seen in your life, scale of 1 to 10, what's your guess for what your market's going to look like in the spring of 23? So kind of like, getting out of that first quarter of 23, going into the hot season. Tell me, oh, this is awesome. So it's like, I'm in Southern California. I think it's going to be a 7 to 8. I'm in New York. It's going to be a 6. Like, yeah, love to see this. And then let's kind of scan the answers when we can. Seeing a lot of 7 to 8s, which is kind of where I'm at. And we'll talk about this. This is amazing. I will talk a little bit of, I'll start off to talk a little bit of kind of macroeconomics. I've been doing what I'm doing, working with real estate teams and brokerages and agents since 2007. So what is that? That's now going on a decade and a half that I've been helping folks, helping connect them with buyers and sellers and dealing with markets that go up and go down. So my last company I built during the Great Recession. And a lot of lessons were learned there. But there is one major difference between that period and then this challenging period that we're in now, which is that kind of supply and demand curve of the available inventory and the number of households that actually want homes. So back in the Great Recession, one of the big, issues was that, we had faulty credit standards. So we had the great implosion and prices cratered. And we all know what the whole corrupt system that kind of went on. And so there had to be, a correction, a big market correction. The entire market was built on false credit. That's not this market, right? And back then, what you need to remember, and if you've only been in this business for a decade, you don't remember those times, because our clients actually didn't want listings. Listings cost them money. They had, they got a listing and they had a seller who thought that their price was here. And the first agent was like, no, your price is not there anymore. And so, clients would always tell me like, man, I don't want to be the first person to get the listing. Right, Barry? Right? Or Mike? They were like, I want to be the third agent to get this listing after the first two get fired, because the seller will finally reset the price. Right?
Yeah, I went broke. I took every listing. If they breathed, I took it. Dale Archdeacon did the exact opposite. He was like, hey, if you can't sell your house for 50 grand less, I'm not listing it. So he had the tough calls up front. So that was a very different environment. I agree.
So the reason why we, if someone had said to me, hey, you're going to launch this company, but then we're going to go through a great recession, I probably would not have launched the company, but I would have been dead wrong, because what we were doing is producing lots of buyers, loads of buyers, qualified buyers. And that's what people actually wanted. It was a total buyer's market. And that's what folks wanted. So we built that business in the Great Recession, which is counterintuitive, because buyers were super, super important. And there was an abundant supply of homes to buy. That's the other thing. That's kind of, unfortunately, where we're at right now, which is we've got all of these forces conspiring right at this moment. But I promise you guys, I am old enough to know this. What goes up comes down. What goes down goes up. And where we're at right now, which is the very, very, I think, very, very bottom, super high interest rates compared to a year ago, not historically, not so bad, but compared to a year ago, right? Twice what they were a year ago, but people got used to free money, right? I have a mortgage. The last mortgage I got was 2.65%. Like, I mean, that was crazy. How could I not get as big a mortgage as possible, 2.65%? But right now, today, I'm not going to go and like even trade sideways, right? To then go pay 6.5% or whatever I can get, right? I'm sort of locked up. I'm going to wait a little bit. And then you've got this historically low supply of homes, right? And the fact that people are kind of seller lock right now is not helping our low supply of homes. Buyers think prices went up too fast, which they did. So they think that prices will come down a bit. So they're kind of waiting. And we're in the middle of the holiday season, the winter season, right? But here's the thing. I am so crazy optimistic, guys, because ultimately, despite all this economics, ultimately, there are people who need to trade up. There are people who are empty nesters who need to trade down. There are people whose job is now in another city. There are people who are now going to like go to more of a retirement community. There are massive, massive numbers of first-time homebuyers. Like it's just a train that can never stop. You do this, right? But just real estate is always going to be between X million and Y million. That's just it, right? This is an incredible opportunity. For Ylopo, it's an incredible opportunity because right now we're seeing all these companies that were basically built on just rounds of investment. They were never built on real revenues and real profits. Like all these prop tech companies, all these fintech companies, this new flavors of lending and new flavors of iBuying and all this kind of shit. I always said, and no one listened to me, I'm like, these iBuying companies couldn't even make money when prices were going up 30, 40, 50% in markets. And they still couldn't make a freaking profit. Well, what happens when prices don't go up? Right? Or what happens if they do this a little bit? Okay. But, so you can see all this like craziness. I mean, it's such a crazy world. I read a great quote today. Everyone knows about the crypto FTX collapse. And there was this great quote today. I mean, we've got massive companies, right? Like Sequoia and Gemini and all these companies that invested in FTX. They literally did no diligence. It was a bunch of 20-year-olds running around in a $200 million house in the Bahamas doing drugs and having sex with each other. And literally people invested tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, what loony world do we live in? So I saw this 10-year, asset, bubble, right? In real estate and crypto and stocks and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, it's just a matter of time. Things always have to reset. Here's the good news. For us, we were built very financially sound, like watching the number of pencils and erasers and pens. And like, someone's like, I want a new desk. My desk is falling apart. Nothing wrong with that desk. We don't need to buy a new desk, right? Like, we're built very financially sound. We're here to last. We weren't building all this false money. Okay. You guys who understand, like, building your database, cultivating your relationships with your clients, right? You guys are here. You're built to last. Right? All these other agents who only know, like, oh, I got a listing and I sold it in 30 minutes, or, oh, I got a listing and I got 30 offers. That's all fiction. And when that goes away, they go away. So now is the time to grab market share. That's all I'm telling you, because these folks are going away. There are going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of agents who are just going to leave. And then all of this market share is for you guys. That's my message. So it's these correction times, these hard times. And believe me, they're hard for us. They're hard for you guys. We get it. But they are the blip. And we are going to be going back. At some point, rates will come down. People will get off their butts and they're going to start transacting. It's all building up. It's building up, building up, building up. Every single month, we have this downward trend of transactions. It just builds up for the future. We saw it in a microcosm during COVID. Remember that? When the market was completely locked up for like 2 months? But I kept telling you, like, every month people don't buy and sell is another month of activity that gets on top of, and then we had that crazy run, right? So believe it or not, it's awful times right now. I get it. The market's locked. But for those who have the staying power, and what I want to get into is, like, not be so transactional right now, right? Be really into building relationships, right? So like, my text is not like, hey, thinking about buying or selling today, right? My text is more like, someday when the time is right, tell me what you might be interested in or what you look at. And I'm going to let you guys talk about the exact kind of scripts, but you really should have notes on almost every single contact about the someday. What does that look like for that consumer? What does it look like for that seller? What does it look like for that buyer? And if you had notes on every single one of your leads, your contacts, and knew the someday and just had a discussion with them, which wasn't super transactional and super pressure filled, you're going to know how to have that continuous conversation with them. And when the time is right, they're going to do business with you. And if you're not in as Gary Keller said, like a full contact sport, full contact with everybody, getting these notes on what they're going to do eventually, you're going to lose out and that person's going to transact with your competitor. So you have this opportunity to do this with everyone in your database. And there's automated ways to do this, right? We'll get into, and then you're going to crush it. So there ends the sermon, how I see it at the very, very top level. Barry?
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you that we have to have a marathon mindset versus a sprint mindset. And normally as agents, we're trying to get stuff that we can bring it to bubble and close in the next 30 to 60 days. We want to make sure that, our expenses are being met and all that stuff. And not that doesn't matter anymore. Obviously it matters, but we have to have the mindset of building something for the future. Howard, the market crash is where we built our brokerage. That's why we built our brokerage. And it's when I bought over 20 houses and kept them. So I was able to create generational wealth during one of the worst economic scenarios of our lifetime. And I'm not going to change. Even during this scenario, we're going to just keep charging forward. And just by maintaining, hopefully you excel, right? Hopefully you guys sell more this year and next year and all that. But even if you just remain standing and you don't back down, you keep your hand on the steering wheel and don't let off the gas, you're going to find that it's going to take you farther on the other side of it. There's no doubt about it. Dave, you just got your license last year, so you probably haven't experienced these things.
I'm still waiting for it to show up in the mail to put a frame around it. Yeah, no, similar.
Hey, before you go, like, Barry, you just said one thing, and I'm almost envisioning, like, we have this like Ylopo poster, this goes back to kindergarten, Aesop's fables, right? Who wins the race, the tortoise or the hare? And we just need to like have a visual of this poster with the tortoise actually winning the race, because it happens all the time, right? Like this is just goes back to what we were taught when we were really, really young. Slow and steady, consistent, persistent is going to win the race. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. So people were all into this one type of lead source, and that was it and nothing else, right? And everyone's like, it's doing that, it's great, right? And you're feeding, and then the market does this, and now you're like, oh shit, I built all these expenses around that, and now I'm kind of, screwed. So I'm sorry.
Well,
No, you're good. I mean, I was just going to go back to a couple of points, right? Like everybody, a year ago, we need listings are selling, and now we want buyers that can qualify. Don't be short-sighted. We want it all. I saw somebody post in there, that they were doing all these short sales and they worked their asses off, but it created a lot of opportunity income for them. Listings, guys, if you really think about it, listings are still what's driving the buyers, right? I'm not saying take every listing like you may have a year ago, but use tools and speak to them and have these conversations, help dictate the market. I mean, I built my career when I was new. I had no listings, no sphere, new begging in a market that really wasn't moving that fast, but just begging other agents to let me advertise their listings to find buyers, right? You are finding people. That's what they're looking for. So it's finding the right ones. We've got builders right now sending us their inventory list saying, hey, by the way, we're not lowering our prices, but this entire list of homes right now, we'll buy down rights, we'll buy all the closing costs. Like they're doing all this, asking us to push it out there. So it's really just, opening up that tool drawer, using a different tool than what most agents have had to do in the last few years. Or let's be honest, a couple of my teams are very new. They've never had to use these tools. They've never sold in a market like this. So they're just having to look at it a little bit differently and how we're speaking to it and how we're leveraging it. And that's why I'm excited about some of the things we're going to be showing here, and where Ylopo's going is making those tools more accessible, making it easier to speak to what the market's doing, not make it personal, but still win not just the right listings, but get the buyers from them. I think yesterday, Howard, on the internal one, you were talking about, back in the day, we were talking about you wanted to be the third agent, right? It's similar in there. I think you can be the first or second if you're showing the right tools and dictating and interpreting the market correctly. But a lot of what we're going to talk about today is that, but what you said, not all one basket. Still look at listings, just take the right ones. Yes, they're an expense, but so is business and so is driving around opening doors, but just do it smart right now.
Isn't there
I
one word?
I don't want to obsess about the tail, not the dog here, but just going quickly back to the iBuyers. I saw one comment about the iBuyers. So understand that for most people, if I'm going to sell my house, I don't want one buyer, right? If I'm going to sell my house, I want as many buyers looking at my house as possible. Now, is there a place in the market, in any geographic market, for someone who needs to sell ASAP? Right, for whatever, there's a myriad reasons why. So for whatever it is, 10% of the market, there is a place for iBuyers. There are reasons why, someone can't come to my house. And I actually bought a house once where unfortunately the wife was just really, really ill. They didn't want to put on the MLS. They didn't want a lot of people traipsing around the house. There was and the guy was really wealthy, whatever. There was a reason why iBuying, in a sense, kind of worked for them. And that works for a very, very small sliver of the percentage of the population. But for all of us, we have so much of our personal net worth in our home, we need as many buyers looking at it as possible. The other great thing about iBuying is it's the world's greatest seller lead. Get in the relationship, say, I've got this option, this option, this option. Let me show you all the options. Well, we know that 90% of it, they're going to actually eventually just list with you, right? Once they you're that expert of going through the options and why it makes sense to get as many buyers looking at your property as possible. But I've sat in high level meetings with multi-billion-dollar, and they're no longer multi-billion-dollar, but multi-billion-dollar iBuying companies who didn't get it. They were no, this is not about producing the world's greatest seller lead, right? This is about the fundamentals of the iBuying business. But anyway, I don't want to go into that too much because that's really the tail. It's not the dog. First off, I also want to tell everyone, I forgot to tell everyone that's on this call, G is going to be dropping a really amazing bomb of goodness. Okay. He's going to tell everyone about something we're working on, which is going to be amazing for you guys. I believe it's totally free. Hopefully, don't shoot the messenger. And just stuff that we're working on for the core product that you have, which is going to be amazing. So don't leave before G drops that bomb.
Well,
but I want to go around the room, and I think Mike Rennick, were you about to say something?
Yeah, to me, it's going to be really simple in 2023. I service the west coast of Florida. Our sales are down 50%. So there's two ways to react to that. Oh my gosh, sales are down. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's not going to happen. Or you can react differently. Here's what I know. In January, there's going to be closings. In February, there'll be more closings. In March, even more. How many of those closings do you want your name on? I have 2 more closings this year, and I have closings with my name on them in January. We're not letting go. Now, people are looking at money, and it's important. I understand. But I have confidence in the small team we have, and we just hired an ISA. It's a young man with a licensed he's a licensed agent now. We're going to be mentoring him, and he's going to be adding value. So we're looking in certain areas of increasing our spend because I know it's going to come back. So the tools that we have here, we know what we have to do as agents. One word. The new word in 2023 is consistency. Every single day, do what we're supposed to do, get our names on those deals that are going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to tie all this, rah stuff in, and Howard, you've alluded to it, and Gabe, I think you did as well. What's really cool is I remember the meeting, Gabe and I went to G and we said, look, we need new stuff, but I can tell you right now, I don't want to spend more on marketing than I am. I want to remain steady. And G allowed us to impact the direction of some stuff. So definitely stay on. The stuff is pretty much done, I think. I don't know. But just you guys definitely want to hear what we've been cooking up. It's pretty exciting.
So Matt C, what are you guys doing right now? What are you guys doing in this particular market? And what are you guys doing to set yourselves up for success for 2023?
Yeah, so one thing we've really been leveraging is, the market is shifting, obviously, but there's still a lot of opportunity out there. So we've been going after like our old buyers who maybe fell off when the market was crazy. And we're letting them know, hey, things have changed. There's a little bit less competition out there. Sellers are willing to kind of give you credits, give you sellers concessions, 2-1 buy downs. We've really been leveraging those, and we've seen a lot of success there. Another thing we've been doing is we've been having our agents every weekend do open houses, and we're using the Ylopo open house tool, and that's working really well for us too. So for everyone out there who's watching, I think I would just say, take the time to put the hard work in, put the consistency in, learn all of the Ylopo tools, because there's so many tools that you might not even know about, from the open house tool to the heat map, all that type of stuff. So, take the time, come into our office hours, learn about all these tools, book one-on-ones with me or Mike or anybody else here, and you're going to be successful.
I mean, would it be fair to say, like, if you show a potential, seller the heat map, like you're going to win that listing pretty much 100% of the time?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone I show that to is super impressed. Like, no other agent in our area is doing this. People just go in, they say, hey, we're going to market your property, but they don't really tell you how, right? We're going in and saying, hey, we started doing the work for you. Here's all the buyers who might be interested in your property.
Awesome. And Gabe, what do you guys?
We're still.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Barry.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, we're still doing the same heavy emphasis on remarketing. So we haven't changed our remarketing budget. We've actually increased it. And we're generating priority alerts off of old leads. Doesn't matter what the alert is. If they trigger an alert, we do a temperature check. It's just a quick takeaway. Hey, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. I was cleaning up my database and I was going to actually archive your file, but I didn't see in the notes if you ever found anything. So I figured I would check. About a third of the time that the person answers the phone, that's an appointment in that scenario, because they're looking and I happen to be calling to say, hey, I'm removing you. It's just a really easy win. That's my son, Dex, by the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what about, any of you guys have any really cool like texting strategies, right now, or just what are your just your kind of your communication strategies? What are you recommending to the audience out there? I love that, Barry, what you brought there was pure gold in terms of that conversation, a temperature check type of communication, right? Didn't know if I should just get, stop reaching out or stop what's coming on the market. I know there's variations of didn't know if you wanted to stop receiving like listing alerts, right? Buyer advantage listing alerts. And that generally comes back with, oh no, don't stop that, right? So any other tips here, guys, and communication strategies?
I think the big thing is in follow-up loss, we're able to tell who's active. So what I teach and what I use is the 7 and 7, who's been active in the last 7 days that I haven't talked to in the last 7 days. And we get almost 125, 175 new people every day that comes into that smart list. And we reach out. That's where we spend our time, folks that are actively looking. And when we call, we don't call and try to sell. We just call and see how they're doing. Hey, Gabe, haven't talked to you in about 3 weeks. Just wanted to check in. How's that new puppy you told me about the last time we talked? You know, it's something like that. But so that's where we focus. If we get all of that done, but when we make 150 phone calls in a day, that's a full day's worth of work, even with a dialer. So that's where our focus is. I want to talk to people who are more likely to want to talk to me.
So Gabe and others, would it be a good thing to so for those people that, you know, have been really active in the last 7 days, to kind of like text them and say, hey, notice you've been really active on the search site. That's great. Are you just having fun looking at homes? Or do you think someday down the line, you may want to, you know, buy or sell? So do you guys lean into that? Do you think it's a bad thing, a good thing? Do you have a variation on that theme?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback what Rennick said a little bit ago. And to answer your question, Howard, yes, but you have to be consistent. Tying back to it's like, I think what we've seen jumping on calls with people I've seen on my own team is lack of consistency. And I think somebody asked me specifically, are you seeing newer agents that aren't wanting to do some of the work? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and lie and say that, you know, all of our agents are perfect. No, we're seeing it. They weren't used to having to do some of this that we have, right? Using some of the tools. They weren't used to having inventory to leverage a system or a process like 7 and 7 and go find, you know, we released a couple months ago, worked with a dev team to be able to copy the listing alert and send it out that logged somebody in that was evergreen, right? Our team had never been used to having to utilize and get that tool. So it goes back to what Rennick was saying right now more than ever is having some sort of consistency, but use the tools, right? Ylopo's job is to get your brand out there, create awareness, create activity, generate leads, and then send it into your CRM. And now it's the CRM's job to allow the ability to dish it up in a way that's useful to you and that's worth your time. But now the team leads and the agents have got to get a process together and be consistent to figure out now, it's not just about the lead gen, it's about getting to the appointments. It's from the appointment to the close, because now it's a paycheck. Everything prior to that is an expense, right? So one of ours, I'll be very transparent. One of the biggest things Laura and I are working with on our team now is from the appointment to a contract, right? We've been focusing on the lead gen and the conversion, doing really well. We're setting a ton of appointments because we've taken a lot of the things that weren't consistent from our team off their plate. We're handling it and doing it. They can still get in the ponds and fish and hunt and set their own appointments. If they don't want to, that's okay. We've brought in additional ISAs and everything to do that. If we set an appointment, they can choose to take it. It's an extra 5% commission. So it's helping us zero base it, but we're taking the things that weren't consistent off their plate, doing it, and now letting them focus on providing service, getting in there, you know, going deeper. There are more homes to go look for. So now when you're using something like Rennick 7 and 7 and you're only reaching out to the active people, I can go find a few additional homes in that area, maybe back on markets, price reductions that we haven't seen, and send a push text to them through Ylopo that brings them in, but it's of value. And I'm not doing it to everyone. I'm, as an agent, only doing it to those that are worth my time, that are very active. So you can be more consistent because you're now not chasing everyone. It's a very select few.
I'm seeing some awesome stuff in the chat. Don, you know, coordinator, 2023 success equals increased action and enhanced skill set. Love that. So Jeff said I just implemented Mike's money list and it's pure gold. Thanks, Michael. Doug's like, we are ramping up, just hired an ISA and hired a new buyer agent, increasing marketing. Okay. Doug's team is absolutely going to win. There's no doubt about it, right? They're doubling down and they are fearless. I love it. So Holly wants to hear about the tools we have to use on listings that are sitting and to leverage them. So if you guys want to comment that, the tools that we have on listings that are sitting and how do we leverage them? So if you guys want to comment on that. Amy, of course, let Raya do your heavy lifting, jump in and take over when that conversation is really heating up. So let's talk about those, the tools for the listings that are sitting, and then let's bring on G to deliver that bomb of goodness.
Yeah. Gabe and Barry, I think this is a good time to dive right into it because that's exactly the tools that you guys
There we go.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. Gabe, do you want to share yours first?
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
If
So
you don't have it ready, I can pull it up.
no, I got it ready. Yeah. So one of them, that we, this is a whole team. I'm presenting it, but I mean, the whole team came in together. But one of the things that a few months ago we were kind of struggling with is really, helping the agents on the team. How can Ylopo help us interpret what the market is saying, right? It's one thing for me to go in and tell Howard that he's overpricing his house. He's going to get pissed at me versus the market's doing it, right? We had some of those community reports and pages, but they weren't branded. They was taken to the branded site. It wasn't logging them in. It wasn't capturing leads. But we just really needed a way to more personalize and brand market trends and data that we have at our fingertips to pull a quick report to either text, email, print off, and have a supplement into your listing presentation or something. We've all probably seen the community pages. So one of the new features, and again, this is available. I don't know if it's released. I think it is for everyone on their branded.
It is
site.
released. Yep.
Is it? Okay. So,
So
we've
tell
just
them what
created,
the website is.
I will. Yeah. So what we've done, there's getting to be so many freaking tools from Ylopo. We've just created a page on our branded site. So it's quick and it's one spot for all of our agents, whether it's heat map, the open house, the market trends, which is what I'm going to show you, home valuation, listing, any of this, we're putting them all together because there's just so many pages. We want to make sure it's easy, but it's a hidden page on our website. It's not in the drop down so the consumers can't see it, but they can just go to our tools page. And what I want to talk about is a market trend. So you're gonna.
Can you before you do that? I think your page, your tools page, because you did that on your own, is different. Do the
right
tools.
Yep. So it'll be right here after your branded
-1.
site URL. Instead of putting like open-house or heat map, you're going to want to put in branded-market trends.
Hey,
Is going to
can
be.
you show the tools page first?
Well, go back to the tools. Add a -1 at the very top, Gabe, to your tools. This is
Oh,
what
sorry. You guys have a
everybody
different tools
else is
page.
gonna
Sorry.
look like.
That's right.
-1. Yeah. So
Right.
anyways, you guys don't need to do the -1, right? But point is, if you go to yourwebsite.com/tools, you don't have to remember all of the link names or anything like that. We've just made all of the tools in one place and we've added 2 more, which is what Gabe and Barry are going to go over. And every time we add a new tool, it's just going to be in the tool section, right? So you guys just need to remember that, your website /tool is the link and you can access all of the Ylopo tools. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
Sorry about that. I
yeah,
forgot.
and the idea here is, the reason why Gabe and I advocated for this is we really wanted to increase the usage of the tools we already have. And the way to do that is to make it easier for our agents and for everybody that's a Ylopo user to access these tools. No more do you have to remember all these long domains. The idea behind this is we want to go deep, not wide. So instead of just like buying more stuff like I did maybe 2 or 3 years ago, now it's, okay, what do I have and how do I maximize what I have? This tools page is an iteration of the direction that, we're really trying to go. And the branded market trends that Gabe's about to show you guys is going to crush your lead nurtures. So Gabe, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Thanks for pointing that out. So just like open house or heat map, I already clicked on this. It's going to open up a page here where the agent, anybody in your Ylopo, can now just the exact same thing, right? They're going to choose their name, whoever's sending it out. And now the market trends, it's been done to where you can do this on a specific address. You can do it in a city, in a zip code, whatever you want to do to pull trends on. I'm going to pick on Caldwell just because I saw somebody post in the chat when Howard asked about what they thought about the market. I think they did a 4 or something like that. This is one of our markets. So maybe I want to pull something for that zip code to see what's going on or something. And maybe this is somebody who isn't selling and I'm trying to now win the listing over once they expire, withdraw, whatever it is. You can pull market trends on an address, zip code, whatever you want. So I'm going to do 83605. You'll see it pulls it in right here. Now, what's really cool is unlike the community pages, which shows everything, I can choose if I want certain stats through the market trends. I can choose all, whatever I want. I'm not a huge fan of price per square foot, but these are 3 sections that I like to highlight on this market trends. Now, on the back, as you guys have already all seen in the other pages, you have this modern home as a default. I've got options. If I don't want that modern home or it doesn't match my market, I can use a pin for the address or the zip code that I did up above. Or if I wanted to throw in like a custom URL, maybe for that area or something like that, I could just bring in whatever I want, and you can paste in any custom. Maybe you have a picture of that home, whatever it is, you can paste it as long as the image is online. So anyway, you hit create, just like you would do the same thing. That's a weird picture. I don't know why that one's on there, but you now have a branded. There's a lot of ag out there that do like sugar beets.
You can buy a house and make a
I
healthy
thought it was like an
smoothie.
Idaho thing.
You can buy a house and make
I
a
was like,
healthy
oh,
smoothie
that-
at the same time. That's
As
why.
soon as I clicked on, like,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
smart asses, they're going to say something. As soon as I clicked on the wrong one.
Hey, that picture could have been a lot worse. So I'm okay with that one.
It could have been. I'm just going to redo it. All right. I'm going to bring this in. You got Jan, got whatever area. You can edit this to say whatever you want. And now I've got the trends that I want to highlight. But what's great is I've now got a link. I can text this out. I can email it. I can hit print this to a single page. But I have got trends to talk to this seller, right? So when I'm sitting there, it's nothing that I think or I feel or based on my research. You know what I'd like to do? The data is telling us that the market is trending right now. Our median list price since April, this is where we've done what the average is of 421 versus 520, over $100,000, right? The listing count, right? Back in April at the low, we had 96, kind of plateaued out here since October, but we're up to 373. Right. And then our demand, that market, it's just a talking point. But what's great, before we couldn't say anything that had our name, our number, our call to action, anything like that. Nothing that had similar homes. What also is really cool about this page, if you're wanting to do some more free lead gen, or you want to post market updates, you're doing some farming, things that we're getting back to that maybe a lot of us stopped doing. Anybody comes in here, because it's now branded to an agent, and they click on any of these homes and start going in, you'll see that it's going to identify what agent it is, take them in. And now if and when they register, that lead's going to be captured and assigned to that agent automatically through lead distribution, nothing needing to happen, right? But it's giving us a tool to take all the data, what's going up, and now dish it to our sellers, to social media, to whoever we want, with stuff that was at our fingertips that we couldn't just really send out before. And this can be used to win listings. This can be used as you guys are on the market, showing them if we need price reductions. Hey, this is what the market is doing right now on price, right? Nothing is what I think, right? One advice I'd give you, living through an adjustment before in the market, it's never what I think, right? It's what the market is saying, what the market is demanding, right? And this allows you to take the focus off what you're saying and show you what the market is bringing in. So again, it's on your tools page, super quick and easy to get in here. It's literally selecting your name, typing in an address or a zip code, whatever you want, and away you go. So super easy tool, win more listings, help with price reductions, do lead generation, talk to your farming areas, all of that at your fingertips. And I believe it's live on everybody's site now.
I always say that
And
75% of our clients don't know at least 75% of the tools that they have with us. Now, a lot of people are like, how do I get these tools? Where do I access these tools? But we had one comment here, which was just unbelievable. It was like, the comment was like, I didn't even know I had a website with you guys.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be laughing, right? Because that's on us, right? That's not on the client, that's on us.
Yep.
But yes, not only do you have a website, but you have a massive number of tools. And we just have to figure out in 23, guys, we have to figure out just on our side, this relentless, drumbeat of making sure that we're constantly educating all of our clients on all the different tools that we know that not everyone is using.
Yeah. And there's going to be endless, people like Rennick and Matt and Barry, they're going to start looking at these. One of our agents is like, hey, I've got my primary zip codes that I'm marketing, and she's just saving those. And now they're in her action plans once a month, every 30 days, it's going out, because that's a live link with it on there. It's pulling the trends, sending it out automatically now, branded to that person. Right. So you'll find as more brains get on this, more use cases for these tools that are being created. And I can tell Barry's chomping at the bit for those comments.
No, when we were doing this, we were trying to come up with a way, I remember when you brought the idea, a way to easily add value to leads at scale, right? Let's be honest. You send them a market report. If they're not like the engineering nerdy type, most of these people aren't going to really study much of it. What they will do, however, is remember that you were the agent that took the time to put together this amazing report. So in my drifts, what I'm going to say is, hey, John, I know you've been looking in XYZ city and whatever the city is. And I put together a report that summarizes a lot of what's going on. I'd love to grab 5 minutes and go over this with you over the phone. That adds another list of things that you can bring in your lead nurture. So instead of just calling and saying, hey, did you find a house? That's tongue in cheek. I know you guys aren't doing that, but hey, have you found anything yet? I can say, hey, I've got this awesome report. Do you have 5 minutes? I'd love to send it to you. Then you can say, by the way, how's the search coming? It feels different when you're calling these leads.
I think that we everyone's got to put all of this together, right? So first in the chain, right, is full contact sport, super consistent, super persistent, not transactional, but just like finding out, like getting to know them, and if you see that they're looking at a lot of homes, it's like, yeah, like eventually I would like to buy something, blah, 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 blah. Then you could follow up with like, do you currently own the home you live in? You're not even asking like, do you need to sell before you buy? Like, you're not even going for the throat yet. You're like, do you currently own the home you live in? Yeah, I currently own the home. Okay. And by the way, if you ever do list your home, like now you can send the heat map, right? Now you can send an example of what a Diva listing rocket looks like, what a video commercial looks like eventually for their home. You can send all these things that you have in your seller toolkit, right? And so not only, and then of course you're helping them on the buy side as well. So now you're helping them on both sides, and maybe you get both sides of the equation. But how many of our agents are doing all of that? That's the question for you guys. Like, how many of them are doing all of that in that careful order?
Not enough.
It's not enough. I totally agree. Not enough. Also, G, we do need to make a note. There's been 2 requests for single property websites on this. So we need to add that to the queue.
Yeah.
And here's, I hate to say this, but like if your agent has just been trained on, here's a Zillow lead who thinks you're the listing agent, but you're the buyer agent. Here's a Zillow lead that wants to go see homes tomorrow. If that's all they're trained on, they're never going to do this whole journey that I just talked about. So it's the stupid old adage, you give them a fish, they eat today, but they're not going to eat for a lifetime. But if you've trained them on all these tools and they find out, yep, eventually they're going to sell a home, not just buy a home. They're helping them on the buy side. They're helping them on the sell side. They're showing them all the tools they have. They're showing them they're not just going to put the home in the MLS. They're going to get that. And then those people who are so helped by you or your agent are going to tell their friends and their relatives about you. And it's a gift that keeps on giving, right? Versus this purely, give me a fish I want to eat today, but I'm really not going to learn how to fish for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Can I clarify something really quick? Because I think I caught skin, but I want to clarify. There's been a few comments over here. I'm going to share really quick, Barry, then I get to the new one. So a bunch of people had already built tools pages like I had. So somebody posted their link, so I'm just going to show it. So this team already had their own /tools page where they did something similar, but it doesn't have those new ones because they didn't know about it. So if you are a team that already has a tools page, if you just put that -1, you will see the one where we've added the branded market trends and the single listing flyer, which Barry's going to go over. And then if you do not already have a tools page, because somebody posted this one as well, all right, don't go to the -1. That's only for people who already had it. If you did not already build a custom page under tools, just do your branded site /tools and you will see it. So the hyphen or -1 is only for those teams or websites that already had a tools page. We didn't want to remove that or hurt it. We just did a -1 for you. The rest of you, a majority of you, will just be the /tools. So just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, we're obviously hearing a resounding from our clients, yes, on the single property websites. And we know that they're really, really valuable, right? And just making it really easy for everyone on our team to produce those is super helpful.
Yeah, so let me show what we've been working on. I kind of set everybody up on this, so this is amazing. So you guys are just gonna go to .com/tools. Don't ignore the -1 there, or the -1. Here's all these really cool tools. If you're not using the open house tool, you're missing out. This is worth probably $75 a month. The heat map scans your database, shows the potential seller, how many buyers you have looking. I would value this at $50 a month. branded market trends, this actually is like $89 a month with another provider. So that's a big deal. And then single flyers. So what we wanted to do, we know that listings are taking a little bit longer. So we wanted to make it easier for you to create flyers and the single property pages. I set you guys up. We already did that. So first thing you're going to do is the branded listing flyer is pick the agent, right? Then you're going to put in the MLS number. If you have on a lender assign, you know how they are. You print them off. They want their picture next to the flyer. You can do that. Then you have, what do you want to say? Do you want it to be a new listing? Do you want it to be just listed, reduced, hot listing, just sold? Or, you know, if you wanted to say Barry's is better than Gabe, you could do that, right? So I'll come back here and just go just listed. I can either print this page. So now it's a flyer, okay? It's just like a regular flyer, size is a flyer, and print it off. Or you can create a link to this page. This is the single property page, okay? And so what this is it's a page, and when they click it, shout out to Gabe on this, when they click anywhere on the single property page, it goes to your search site. So now you can actually use these single property pages and, you know, send them out as lead gen opportunities. And you can also send it to your seller and say, Mr. Seller, I designed a page, a web page for your home. I wanted to share it with you. Another easy win that doubles is between a flyer and a single property page.
And lead generation and activity on your web, all of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Super easy.
So,
trying to get
so
through
again, going deep, not wide.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Barry already thought of what you guys are all asking for. So that's fantastic. I love it.
There are a few questions in there. I think the default, somebody's asking about the background image. To my knowledge, we can't set a default background image for your office yet, but you have three options. Again, just the default. You can use the property pin or area, so it's more of a map back there, or you can upload a custom image. So you really have three different options there. And I don't think there's any options outside on the single property flyer. It's pulling from MLS. I think it's the first 5 or 6. To my knowledge, you can't adjust those, correct, Barry?
Yeah.
Correct, but we're making the assumption that if the real estate agent, it's a big assumption, but if the real estate agent prioritizes a certain set of photos, we're going to prioritize that as well. You know, the idea, I know that I'm kind of a broken record, but I know what's going to work. It's if you guys double down on what you already have. So Gabe and I and Mike and Matt, we're a part of our mission is to help you guys, the end user, access these tools and use them and make them as easy as possible, because we've got stuff that are going to set you apart in your local market. And this is all included, all included. You know, Howard, I know I'm talking a lot, but whatever. Up until the open house tool was launched, I think we had sold maybe 5 open houses, like got 5 clients from open houses. In our area, you only get 3 to 4 visitors on an open house. I probably could, you know, change that a little bit, but now I've got brand new agents just standing there saying the seller's asked to keep a register, and it gets added to the CRM, listing alerts, Facebook ads. We sell at least 1 open house client a month now as a result of the open house tool. It's a cash cow.
Has anyone ever,
many people aren't
it's
using
got
it.
a really stupid idea. I don't know if it's crazy, but Barry, like what happens if you just did like a buyer's advantage, like a buyer's advantage seminar at an open house?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that would be kind of crazy.
It's a good idea.
Try it, you know, and just market it out everywhere, you know, just, you know, put a stake in, you know, and 10 miles around your whole thing, right around the open house, like come and I don't know, like your homeowner would have to agree to it, whatever. But, you know, like you just, okay, maybe that's the world's worst idea, but you got to be creative here. You just got to, you know, you've got to, it's a full contact sport, right? So you want to be helping and training and consulting with as many people as possible. I got to show you guys one thing. Can you see this? That's how, can you see this?
I love it.
So that's how fast the Ylopo team, in just the time that we talked about, like, oh, someday we should have like this poster of the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. All right, we can make this a lot better. This just happened in the last 5 minutes. But I think this is really the poster we need to share with all of our teams and all of our staff, right? It's that every single day being consistent, not like showing up some days and going on a calling and texting spree and email spree. It's like every single day, slow and steady is going to win the race. And that could be a whole entire sort of webinar, topic on exactly the procedures and processes and protocols, communication strategies to kind of do that. But I thought it was kind of fun. One of our great members of our Ylopo team, Jeff Broger, just did this in like 2 seconds. Thought it was great.
Yeah. So two questions. Hold on, Howard. Two questions I want to answer. I'm seeing the first is the point of the tools page is that it's not just the license holder or the broker or the team leader has access to this tool. There's a drop down for every agent on the team to run this themselves, right? And all leads collected from that will only go to you. So I just want to emphasize, this is not a tool for the team leader or the admin to pull, or just for the team leader admin pull. Anyone on your team can use this. That's why we put it on your branded site. So there's no login, you can just access it, right? That's number one. The second is, if you don't have a Squarespace website right now, we have a way to give you access to a tools page. You need to contact your client success manager, and we will send you to our branded sites team. It's not instant. We still have to build you a website, right? So have some patience, but you absolutely can access it without having your branded site. So, just wanted to make that really clear.
Yeah. And the idea, again, is we're having to have the agents remember, ooh, when you do an open house, go to your domain /open-house creating the page just puts it all in one spot. Now, all they have to remember is just go to your site /tools, right? All the tools are there as we're building them. It's giving them one spot. You're onboarding, your training. You can have them save one link to their bookmarks, whatever it is, and everything that's available to them to be using to help get that consistency is in one spot.
Yeah, and we should probably, we saw a question here in the chat about URL shorteners, and I'm kind of really big on that. And so obviously everyone can use Bitly, but let's just even think about Ylopo. Like not every agent, out there kind of knows that. Let's even think about how we can even get that information, things like that, other tools that are available that will help people be more efficient in what they do.
So today we wanted to surprise you guys with two new tools that are already built, right? And Barry and Gabe, masterminds behind this, did a great job. I think just the fact that we got everything into the tools page, so now you don't have to remember open-house, heat.map, whatever, all the domains is a huge win. So, we're going to be trumpeting this quite a bit. You guys on this call you're all hearing it first, right? Continuing down that theme, Ylopo is going to spend the vast majority of our effort this year on creating tools like what you are seeing here, or updates on what you're seeing here, to make your platform, kind of even more valuable and built for these times, right? And so I wanted to just share some of those things so you guys know what we're working on. The first is, we've heard a lot of feedback from clients that even though paid traffic is still the king in terms of actually driving traffic to your website, that many of you want to invest in the search engine optimization of your website. Now, search engine optimization takes a lot of effort. It's not easy, and you got to outrank a lot of people, and you got to outrank all the big boys. But you need a website that has the infrastructure components to allow you to do that, right? And Ylopo is going to move toward that direction of building you guys out a really SEO-friendly website that combines your branded site with your home search website. We've engaged, one of the industry leaders in SEO to be a chief consultant to provide us the architecture plan for this. And we are making our home search website 100% crawlable. And there's just a tremendous amount of work around SEO that we're going to be invested in. It's going to take time.
Can you explain what that means?
Search engine
site is crawlable.
Well, that means that Google is able to go in and see all of the content on your website, right? And they're able to properly index all of that content.
Right. And so when you put in 123 Smith Street in Virginia Beach, Virginia, normally Zillow is going to be one of the top ranked because Zillow is being crawled by Google. This gives us an opportunity to have our addresses crawled by Google as well, right?
Say that. I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. Say that one more time.
If I Google 123 Smith Street in Virginia Beach, now my search site is being crawled by Google. There's a chance that it'll show up at some point on in the search.
You know, there's a chance, but remember, there is all of Zillow and Realtor.com's pages, and then there's another 10,000 agents in your market that probably also has that same data feed and that link. So it's not just about having the content be crawlable. You got to write a custom page with information that doesn't exist that anyone else has written already. You know, you've got to go through additional procedures to make that rank, right? But, you know, you have to have infrastructure set up to even have that conversation, right? And Ylopo is going to put all of the plumbing that's necessary for you to do great SEO on our website. And we're going to be comparable to any other website company out there on the SEO front, right? So we're really excited about that update. And, you know, it's going to take us some time, but every month, every week, it's going to get better. As an example, in January, we will be releasing a huge enhancement to our branded site to increase speed, right? You know, right now, if you run a speed test on the Ylopo homepage, as an example, we've already done quite a bit of enhancements just over the last year, but your, you know, ranking is somewhere around a 65, 70 on average, right? You know, we're going to move that number to over 90% in January, right? So a lot of improvement there. The other exciting thing that we're building out, some of you might have already seen it as a survey in the YSC, is we're building out a in-app, follow-up boss widget, right? So that means with on desktop, this is not on mobile, but only on desktop. When you log into Follow-Up Boss on a particular lead on the top right-hand corner, you are going to see a widget with Ylopo content. And on that widget, at least in our planning right now, you're going to be able to do two things. First, you're going to be able to see all of your Raya conversations and take them over and perform certain actions like opting them in or opting them out, right? So all of the Raya is in there. You don't have to go into stars. You can access it in the widget. And the second is that you're able to create and edit your own listing alerts directly in FUB. You don't have to go into stars, right? So you can see, hey, did this lead get set up with a listing alert? What was that listing alert? Let me edit it, so on and so forth, right? Our goal is to make the experience seamless so that your agents don't have to think in order to use those tools. And it kind of feels like even more of an integrated experience, right? So we're really, really excited about that one. For those of you who have not voted in Ylopo Success Community, we're going to have another poll soon, but we want to find out between Raya and editing the listing alert, what is more important for you to build first, right? So just watch out. We have another poll there, and we really need your feedback because based on that poll, we're going to go and do something, right? So it's very important that you get your voices heard.
I want to make sure 2G on that everybody understands it's for a widget on the desktop version in Follow-Up Boss. So not from your phone. So when you're on the desktop on the lead profile in Follow-Up Boss, edit, create, and all of this listing alerts or Raya, because there was a lot of confusion, I think, thinking it was going to be on their phone. This would be on the desktop only.
100%. Yeah. As all of you know, I mean, most of you should know, we've certainly talked about it quite a few times. We are working furiously on launching our sister company, Maverick, which is a shorthand of thinking about it is it's a sales manager in a box. It allows you to automate a large part of what a sales manager has to do from a reporting and accountability perspective, put it in one place. So it's a 10 to 20 minute task for you on a daily basis, right? That platform we're working on, and we will start enrolling clients in that March or end of Q1 time period. And so, go to maverickre.com if you have not signed up for our wait list. We are sending out first week of January a free report that provides a ton of insight and data into the performance and health of your database. And of your agents. It's essentially a free trial of Maverick. and you can get it, very soon here, and you're going to get it on a monthly basis entirely for free, right? So there's just no risk to you. It's valuable information. And so just go to maverickre.com, sign up there, and we will get you instructions on how to sign up for our free Maverick report. And you can have a preview of Maverick before we even release it. Now, those are all examples of things that we are doing to, provide you guys more tooling. Go ahead.
G, before we move on, I just want to make sure that everybody really, really understands how amazing what you said. So imagine that, that feeling where you feel like you're leaving money on the table and leads aren't being responded to in a timely fashion, and you're wasting money. And it's just this feeling. It's a compulsion. We sit in front of the CRM and we're like, okay, Maverick makes that to where you don't feel that way anymore. Maverick is looking for leads that you blew it or your team, needs to get back to. And Maverick is enabling you to marry appointments and money. Where are my appointments coming from? Where are my closings coming from? What lead sources are creating revenue, and which agents are better with that lead source? So it enables you to effortlessly take the genius of the top 0.0001% in the nation and the way they're running their business. You get that in a box. It's incredible. And I was telling G and Howard, next year a lot of us are tightening our belts, right? I believe Maverick will be the mechanism that you tighten your budget with, because it's going to effectively show you where to put your money and who to give the leads to on your team. Huge, huge deal.
Well,
Sorry,
the only thing I would differ with is I think those folks that thrive next year, the people who are not tightening their belts, they're actually going to be increasing their spend, but they're going to be spending it in the right places. And with the Maverick tool,
great point.
Tool, they're going to know where to actually and we're going to be just as accountable. Like with the Maverick tool, it's going to be like, here's what I'm making on Ylopo. Here's what I'm making on XYZ lead source. Here's what I'm making on Acme lead source, right? But to spend less on the shit that's not working and to spend more on the stuff that is working. But those people who are courageous and not fearful are going to gain market share next year. There's just no doubt about it, right? The other cool thing about Maverick is, it's going to be all this data on what agents on your team are working the leads, what agents are not, what lead sources are working, what lead sources are not. But that's going to give you this insight for massive action. But we're building action into Maverick. It's not just this metrics and reporting and analytics program. It's literally like, oh, I can hit a button and I can actually tap every single agent on the shoulder through Maverick to say, you've got all these down funnel, priority leads, Raya conversations, people that are searching massively in the last 24 hours, whatever it is, you guys can define it, and you need to go talk to them right now. And here's what you need to say, right? And that will get 50% of your agents to reach out to 50% more of the leads. And those that don't, you'll actually be able to hit another button, right? And turn Raya on at some point to then communicate with the consumer. But even better, you'll be able to hit another button and reassign the leads, right? And you're going to have these publicly shared leaderboards, if you want, that keeps everybody accountable, right? And if you're giving you're spending all this money, if you're giving these leads out to these folks and they're not responding, especially when there's these down funnel, high priority actions, consumers that want to talk to them and they're not talking to them, you're going to redirect them to the people that are. Right. So all of this insight is not just for insight's sake. It's going to lead to you being able to be a much more effective manager immediately. And in a sense, help those people. Like I always say, coach them up or coach them out. Like there's going to be tools in Maverick where you can listen to their phone calls, listen to the best phone calls, learn from them, and listen to the worst phone calls and then teach those folks. And you're going to coach them up or you're eventually going to coach them out. Right. So it's just like, that's like the tip of the iceberg, guys. And so we're kind of going full circle with just, giving more and more tools. And I don't know, G, if you even want to talk about Raya Live, here at all as well.
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm going to go into. So, everything you just saw here is again, tools that we are introducing, amazing tools that will make your life a lot easier. We are also constantly, as you know, experimenting on the digital marketing side. This is why you hire us, to be the forefront for you on digital marketing. And there's 2 initiatives that we are working on right now that I am really excited about. The first is TikTok. My team has gotten very close with the TikTok, team. We are doing a ton of research. We're participating in, workshops, and we are going to explore, all the different ways that we can help you with marketing on TikTok. At the bare minimum, what we're doing is using TikTok technology to take the listings in your market that we're remarketing to agents to on Facebook and Instagram, turn all of them into videos, right? Because TikTok only works with videos. So we can follow the same people who are in your database and visiting your website on TikTok and show them similar listings they'll be interested in, except the format they'll see them in is really cool diva-like videos, right? So we're super excited about that. And we're bringing essentially dynamic remarketing to TikTok, right? Obviously still in the planning phases right now, but we're pretty excited about it. I have a strong suspicion it's going to work. And we're also working on ways to generate leads from TikTok, generate, engagement from TikTok for you, likes, followers, etc. And so we'll be revealing a lot more of those campaigns in the future as well. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that Raya Live, which is our Ylopo call center, is now officially live and taking phone calls. We are initially only working direct connect leads, and we have over 100, I think it's 200 people who've signed up to be a beta client of Raya Live. So we have plenty of folks that we're going to be testing our call center with. And where we're moving is, we have spoken to a lot of clients who, have told us, hey, especially with Direct Connect, we want transfers, right? We don't want just a lead that we have to call and do all the work. Ideally, it's a lead that either has had a significant conversation with Raya to the point where, the agent is ready for, or the consumer is ready for follow-up via text message, or our call center is ready to transfer or set an appointment for that lead to connect with you at a now or at a future date, right? And so we're working on a process to get you only those leads. That way, you're going to get essentially transfers rather than leads. Obviously transfers are going to be more expensive than leads that we generate because of all of the work that needs to be done. But you're going to get a much higher quality lead because we're going to cut out the initial follow-up process in the beginning, right? So, I see that as getting further down the funnel for all of you. And that's something we're working toward, throughout Q1, and we will be testing it out with hundreds of clients in the future. So I'm excited to work on that in Q1 as well. So bottom line, you're going to get more tools to make the platform more valuable. That helps you in the next quarter. Some of them already released, some of them will be released. And in addition to that, new lead sources and ways we're going to deliver leads to you in Q1 or toward the end of Q1 as well. Those are kind of our objectives for the year.
Awesome.
That's incredible. So much opportunity there. And what I like about it is even with all those innovations, you're going deep. You're enabling us to like leverage what we have and just take it a step further. So that's awesome.
So a lot of comments on, that TikTok is really in the headlines now, being banned in some states, government devices. It's scary right now. TikTok's in trouble. This is a very important point. The tool that we're developing, hopefully, if for some reason, there's probably more people that are like, yeah, TikTok's not going away. Like they'll figure it out. But if it does, the tooling that we're developing, like there'll be a replacement, right? Like that whole concept or Instagram gains more market share or whatever it is, right? So the tooling we're creating is going to be flexible enough, like whatever, wherever the massive eyeballs are, that's where Ylopo is going to be. And that's where Ylopo is going to put you. Okay. So it's the plumbing under the hood. And if TikTok, if they figure it out, right, and TikTok goes along, great, we're there. If not, if it's more Instagram or player number Z that we don't see, we're going to be there. That's what so we move really, really quickly. So don't worry about what's going on in the macro world, guys, because we're there. We see it. We're aware of it. We're going to be on the front lines. Again, write it down. Wherever the consumer eyeballs are, that's where we're going to be for you, for sure, right? Looking around the corner, that's who we are. That's our DNA. Looking around the corner, not having our head in the sand with the same tooling that some companies have had the same tooling for 5 or 10 years, not changed. So at least you know when you're with us, we're always going to be looking around the corner when it comes to AI, when it comes to social media, when it comes to tooling that you guys need, right? Because look in the room here, guys, right? We've got Eric's running a real team, and Gabe's running a real team, and Mike's running a real team, and Matt's running a real team. And that's who we enlist. And every time we try something or we test something, like we just keep expanding the test set, right? Kicking the tires, fixing things, molding things. It's not us, it's you guys that help us shape what you guys need. That's who we are. And that's who we're always going to be.
Yeah. And you know, also the genius of the decision to be a marketing and innovation company and not the typical all-in-one, when everybody thought we were nuts when you made that decision. But the genius of that really is bearing out now, because as the market keeps shifting so quickly, these big companies that half of their engineers are servicing a CRM and the other half are trying to do marketing, you know, they're carrying a heavy load, and it's tough to shift that ship. But look how quickly, once again, Ylopo is pivoting so that we're enabling our users to have the tools they need to be successful today, not just next year.
Awesome. Anyone else in the room want to say something, contribute something? G, you're good?
I'm good. Excited about the year. A lot going on, guys. You know, I will say, you know, you guys are going to have a lot of feedback on the tools that were released. Email them to your CSM or support@ylopo.com. We'll, you know, collate all of those and prioritize from there. If you want to, you can bombard Barry and Gabe as well. They love getting random messages about requests and then trying to get it to the right person, but they are a great filter.
Yeah, my number is 310.
I don't mind taking all of those. Gee, I just posted my email in there. Just everybody send them to my email. I just put it in the chat.
That's right.
And you know, I really am thankful, and I appreciate all the great positive comments. I'm all about get rid of the negative in your life and your teams and stay positive. And so, you know, thanks to Doug for love the vision, and Daniel, very reassuring, way ahead of the curve from Duncan. Patrick appreciates us and we appreciate him. I look forward to seeing you out in Austin. I'll be speaking in Austin, in case people want to know about that. For any real estate agents out in the Austin area, Facebook message me and I'll tell you about that. So, you know, in terms of, you know, the next summit, I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you guys, like where my head is at, and I probably even told my team, you know, it is awesome to have the big, lavish, super fantastic event, rah, and all that. But I keep thinking about, you know, this expression of 75% of my clients are not using 75% of our tools. And to me, that's more just, you know, low key, laptops open, come to a regional event and learn, and bring your team and learn, and less of the, you know, a little bit less of the lights, the action, the music, the rah. But if we could touch people regionally, and maybe it's not 1,000 people in a room, right? Great for my ego, yes, but maybe it's 150 people in a room, right? And laptops open and in the trenches. That's where my head is at, touching folks on a regional basis. You know, yes, we will do at some point, we'll do a big Ylopo Success Summit, and it's awesome and it's amazing. But I think now is not the time to be running these really big, lavish events. I think now is the time to be digging in the weeds, learning so we can go make more money. That's what I'm feeling.
Love
I'm
it.
gonna leave that
Love it.
as my parting thought. Anyone else want to give a parting thought?
I had one real quick, just going through the comments, guys. And I'm gonna tie it back to something Rennick said earlier, is consistency. All right. There were a lot of comments like, improved Raya scripts. We're improving them all the time, right? I got, bad leads or whatever it is. It is time for consistency, guys, and focus on the 80%. Don't focus on some of the wrong numbers or some of the bad responses, or maybe where something was misunderstood. We get so caught up on that, especially I think when we are a little worried or stressed what's going on. Buckle down, get consistent, and focus on the 80% of the opportunity that's there, and let some of that other noise go right now. Let us know. We want to adjust those scripts. We want to improve things. These are the first iterations of the single property page and the market trends. Improvements will come, but focus on just using them and focus on the positives and the opportunities that are in the database, and not some of the mishaps right now. It's too costly to miss some of that low-hanging fruit that's right there. Let us know, but focus on the other, move forward with it, and get it into that ROI column, and then we'll make improvements on the other.
Hey, Gabe, Jessica had a really cool comment. We're getting a ton of amens on the In the Weeds regional, laptops open. Let's
I
make
knew
more
it
money.
would happen as soon as you said it.
Jessica had a great comment. She called it Ylopo Tour 2023. And maybe we work with our friends over at Follow Up Us, right? And maybe it's not only it's in the weeds on how it kind of all works together, right? Lot of ideas. We want to hear from you guys. But it's something that I think that it's really high time that we do. And I'm pumped up about it. So Gabe and Barry and Mike and Matt and a lot of other folks, you're going on the road, baby. Love it. All right, cool. Anyone else? Some parting thoughts? Barry?
Oh man, I mean, I'm just really grateful to be a part of a company that's in touch with their user base. It honestly is invigorating and motivating. Gabe, Matt, Mike, I'm sure you guys can say the same thing, as to have a tangible impact on the direction of a very large, successful business that then helps all your friends. Like, it's kind of like the dream job. And so to be able to impact all these small business owners. Were you going to say something, Matt?
Yeah, I just echo what you say. I think it's amazing that Ylopo really listens to every agent that works, with Ylopo, and they take into account their tips and what they would like to suggest to upgrade the system and those tools. So I think that's really great. And also just, me and Mike have been at this for 6 months with the coaching, and it's been amazing. It's really one of the most collaborative communities that I've been a part of. I think Mike, you would probably say the same as well. And I learn a lot from every agent who I talk to.
And Patrick suggested a book in the chat, Win the Day. So I've already downloaded it, as he mentioned it in the chat. So I'm learning as well. Win the Day, right on my Audible account. I'm going to listen to it actually in my drive out. I have a long 3-hour drive later. 7 daily habits to help you stress less and accomplish more. I love that. So great. Anyone else want to say anything before we leave?
I've got one point I'd like to share, and so I'll be really candid here. Before I went into real estate, I worked in industry and I was a global information officer. So I'm a technologist. I love technology. Before 2019, I was with a different marketing company. In those days, they were kind of struggling. They didn't have it. I found Ylopo. I'm here today, and I don't say things I don't mean, because we have the best tools in the world. But that's not the only answer. We have to take it now. We have to use those tools. So I have a favorite 4-letter word. I love profanity. I make no excuses for using it. It's called work. Take the tools, grab them, come in and spend time with Matt and I and Barry and Gabe and everyone. Let's crush it in 2023.
And to sort of, tie things together where we're going, launching Maverick by the end of Q1, and it'll be in its, kind of minimally viable state, and it's going to keep getting better and better. But where are we going with this? Ultimately, we're going to basically say, look, you're in this particular market, call it Austin, right? Team A, Team B, both in Austin, both have Ylopo, both have the same budget, right? and team A is crushing it. I'm getting so many texts that I'm actually putting in our own client success stories of people just crushing it, and they became number one in their market. And even in this market, they're doing incredibly well. But when I look at their follow-up, it's insane. So we're going to show you like the benchmarks. Literally, we're going to have the Maverick report on all of you. So there's going to be nowhere to hide in a good way, right? There's going to be nowhere to hide. So, this is going to be really a game changer, because we're going to show you, right? I guarantee it. I guarantee as I stand here, I've been doing this a decade and a half. If you're in the lowest decile of lead follow-up, your team, your results are not going to be there. If you're in the highest decile of lead follow-up, you're going to be crushing it. And eventually, like, we're going to have the tooling to get everybody on your team to level up or level them out, right? And bring in more people who will level up with you, right? So guys, this was, I thought, an incredible session. I'm humbled and honored to have these amazing realtors running teams, and doing the hard work, and then sharing. All these guys are sharing their time to try to help our community. Always thankful and feel blessed to be working with G, the most humble and most talented guy in the room. He doesn't even like me saying it. That's how humble he is. But G and his team, his product team, his tech team, our client success team, everybody is working so hard. They're working around the clock. They're killing themselves for you guys. And just so thankful for everyone else that's on this call. So having said that, I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing weekend. We want to hear from you guys. Appreciate y'all. We love you all. We hope you have an incredible holiday. Rest up and relax, because we are all going to work hard and crush it in 2023. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. God bless. We'll see you guys.